We don't want to do anything to scare your children. That's the last thing we want to do.
That's a direct order. Do it now.
He's been put down, ripped off, cut open. Now, he's unleashed. The American insurgency starts now. This is Rusty Humphries, Rebellion Radio.
Well, hello and welcome. How are you? Welcome. My name is Rusty Humphries, and this is the Rusty Humphries Rebellion. We are powered by the nice folks at Right Wing News and the American Patriot. You can see us on a lot of great Facebook pages, including Right Wing News, the American Patriot. Also, you can hear us or see us on Liberty One TV. And what else do we got going on? Oh, also the podcast. The podcast, you can find that at iTunes and Stitcher and any place you find great podcasts. Now is the time to check in. I want to see who you are. I want to see where you're checking in from. Like, for example, Lee is there. Bonnie's checking in from Iowa. Cindy is from Texarkana, Texas. How you doing, Cindy? Let's see. We got Leah from Princeton, New Jersey. Over on the American Patriot, we got a lot of nice folks on there as well. So please check in. I want to see who you are. Heidi says, hey, Heidi. Hey, Rusty, it's Heidi in Blizzardy, North Dakota. Let's see. What is the temperature where I'm at? It rained last night. I live in Arizona. And right now, it is a chilly 56. Chilly 56. It hasn't rained here. Honestly, it's supposed to do a lot of thundering and lightning in August. And I didn't see it in August. I didn't see it in September, October, November, December. We finally got some good rain here in January. So now I know it's a mess where you are in a lot of places. But I appreciate you being here and checking in. Jessica checking in, loving it. Roger says, so Huma and Carlos will not be getting divorced. Why? Well, because they can't testify against each other while married. That is right, Roger. Of course, he's talking about Huma Abedin, Hillary's special gal, and Carlos Danger. That's the porn name of Anthony Weiner. And they were supposed to be getting a divorce, and today, out of the blue, as a matter of fact, now that we have some more investigating going into those emails and Huma Abedin, magically, love has struck again. There's love in the air in the Weiner household, and it looks like Huma wants Anthony's Weiner, and they're going to stay. I mean, Huma wants to be a Weiner. Huma wants to stay married to Anthony, I guess is the best way to do it. By the way, have you shared the video yet? Do me a favor, share the video right now. It's very, very important that we share this video, that we let people know that we are there, that you participate. The thumbs ups, the comments, all of these things make a difference. I want to hear from you. I want to know what's on your mind. Peter's out there. Erica's there. Lori is out there. Jessica is in Illinois. T. Wayne is there. Terry's there watching. So thank you all very much. Now, while you're getting ready to watch, there's one thing I would really, really, really like to tell you about, and then we'll get going with the show, because it's so important. It is a new app. It's called the HearMeOut app. Now, why am I telling you about an app? I'm telling you about an app because these major social media companies are trying to screw you over, try to screw me over. They're trying to lie to you. They're trying to put in your news feed so much garbage, so much censorship that you're going to believe that somebody like John McCain is good, that you're going to believe that Oprah should be the next president. They want to lie to you, and we want to stop that. And one of the things you can do is follow me at the HearMeOut app. You download it at the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store, and it's, as it says, it's smart, it's simple, it's innovative. Basically, all you do is you download this app, you follow me, Rusty Humphries, and you can listen to a bunch of different people. Everybody's got their own profile. You can get one too. You can record yourself, find other people will find you, and it is a great way, a really, really good way to get your voice out there and hear more voices as well. Again, follow me, Rusty Humphries, on the HearMeOut app. Type in hashtag Rusty, and we're doing more drawings, and I'd love to have you be a part of things. So please follow me on the HearMeOut app right away, right now. I'm talking right now. Do it. Don't wait. All right, let's see here. Brian says they got a heat wave, 29 degrees. Bill says, keep up the good work, Rusty. I live in Washington State. It's raining. What's new? That's where I'm from, Bill. What part of Washington State you from? I grew up in a little town called Des Moines, which is halfway between Seattle and Tacoma, off the Kent-Des Moines exit off I-5. Brian says they got a heat wave today, 29 degrees. Jack says, I wish the HearMeOut app had a PC interface. Well, not yet. William says, never seen this. Well, I'm glad you're here, William. Let's get going and talk about what's going on in the world. First of all, everybody is concerned, especially on the conservative side, and you should be. What's Donald Trump doing with DACA? Now, I don't trust those Democrats one stinking bit. They will do everything they can to lie, cheat, and steal. Listen, Donald Trump, and one of the criticism of Donald Trump in this Fire and Fury lousy book, and there are some things in this book. I think there was a lot of leaks. I think there is some truth to this book. I read the whole thing. But one of the criticisms is, well, Donald Trump doesn't know government. No, he doesn't. Good. And everybody's making fun of him. Well, do you want a clean bill, Mr. President? See, that's a trick. Well, yeah, I want a clean bill. I mean, most human beings like you and me would go, yeah, I want a clean bill. I don't want a bunch of mess in there. See, it's Democrat trap. See, the way they do things in Congress, they make them as confusing as possible on purpose so that real people like you and me and Donald Trump don't know what the hell it is they're doing. That has to stop. Now, I'm not a big fan of earmarks. They were talking about earmarks yesterday. What are earmarks? Earmarks are where politicians put in special pet projects. Now, when they got rid of the earmarks, I had a senator call me up on the phone one time on my cell phone, driving down the street. And, hey, Rusty, this is Senator so-and-so. I'm not going to tell you his name because, to be honest, I don't remember which one it was. Anyway, he said, the earmarks are good. I said, you got to sell me on this one. Good luck selling me on this one. He says, the earmarks are a way that we can be assured that money needed for our states goes to where it's supposed to go. And if you don't do that, then the money's more scattershot out. Now, I've seen how some of this stuff works. I had a couple of projects done when I was in Nevada. Raised money for a veterans memorial in the Reno area. And it was very fascinating how these things worked. Because the money goes from the feds to the state, then it went to the city, then it went to the project, and the little tastes, they lose a little bit here and there. But what the senator was saying to me was, you got to make sure that senators can put these earmarks in. Now, I disagreed with him, but there's a new thing that they're talking about doing, and I want to know what you think. And that is, okay, you want to have the earmarks? Fine. But I want your name on it. I want to know who wants that earmark. I want to know if you're just trying to send money to your state for the breeding habits of underwater trout or whatever, something stupid. I want to know who does it so you can ask that senator, okay, why are you doing that? And maybe he's got a good answer. Probably not. But I want those guys to be held accountable. See, that's what's happening in the Congress right now. Nobody is held accountable on just about anything, which is why they were able to get away with all the sexual harassment for so long. Why they are able to shove so much crap down yours and mine's throat. Why our taxes keep going up. Why the government keeps getting bloated. And why Donald Trump can't get stuff done, because there really is this deep state of people. It sounds so conspiratorial, but it's true. It's that, here's the deal. Republicans always try to be nice. You know what? We got to go along. We got to get along. Remember Bush? We just got to get along. Democrats don't have that same problem. We'll slash and burn. We'll fire every single Republican person in there. We'll get rid of every single one of them, and we'll jam our Democrats in there, and they'll stay in there for life. Republicans, no. They're nice people. Come on, they got families. Let's give them jobs. Let's just let them stay. They've been there for a long time. And if they do fire them, then the media goes crazy. Oh my gosh, the evil Republican president, when he goes and fires these poor people, and you'll see government employees. I've got children, I've got little Cindy, she's supposed to go to college, and I don't know what to do. Even though it was supposed to be a 4 to 8 year job, they knew it going in. And so Republicans go, oh, golly jeepers, we need to be nice, and so we'll let them stay for the next 20 years. And then when somebody like Trump comes in and says, you know what, I'm going to follow the law. I'm going to do what we're supposed to do. Then all hell breaks loose, and that's what's been going on in the Justice Department and in the State Department and all across the government, all of these people staying in those jobs and doing everything they can to make it hard to get this government turned around. You agree with me or disagree? You agree, you give me a thumbs up or a heart. You disagree, you give me a frowny face or a cry. James is checking in from Wisconsin Iron River. Let's see here. Mark says it's a balmy 45 in Buffalo, New York, but hold on to your seat. That ain't going to last long. No, it's probably not. Jessica says, Rusty, need to ask you about the DACA agreement, okay? Chris lives in Bremerton, Washington, which is just across the Puget Sound from where I live, pretty close. Brian checking in. Callie is there. He says, if you're not naming the J, I'm guessing senator, then I'm not doing your app, period. I got to remember. I got to forget. It wasn't, I don't remember who it was. It wasn't a nasty one, and it was why I was kind of shocked about it, because it was kind of a conservative one. As I recall, he's retired. And it's from the Midwest. I can look it up. It's not that I'm trying to hide his name or anything. I don't do that. If something is told to me in confidence, you won't know. I do believe in keeping confidences. Because I am as honest a journalist as I can be. I'm pretty good at splitting myself as a professional. Most journalists can't do it, but I can. And that is, if I'm doing opinion, which I'm doing right now, I'll tell you exactly what it is I think. If I'm being a journalist, I really am able to step out, get my opinion out of it, and just tell you the story, tell you the news. And I think that's so very, very important, and I don't know why more people don't do it, or at least try. Let's see here. Michael says, just like I think the reason they're not getting a divorce is somehow to make you start thinking it's conservatives try to break them up, but love. Conquer with 2 fingers in the air, get your minds off. I don't get with that. Jeff says you don't give up. Bill says, I believe the liberals are pushing this Oprah nonsense along with the Hollywood crowd. They're using their popularity with the moviegoers to blackmail us on who should be running this country. That's the road to dictatorship. Argentina is a good example of that. Interesting. Tammy Aaron's here. Pippi Longstocking. We love her. Tammy, we got to get you on the show to talk about what is going on with Corey Feldman. You've got some very interesting stuff. Matter of fact, I wonder if I can put you on right now. What if I do this? What if I can bring you up? Tammy, are you there? Invite friends to begin. Can you talk on the show? Let's see if this works. I'm trying something different. All right, well, we'll see if I can get that working. David's checking in from Dave and the family in Apache Junction, Arizona. David, my parents live right down the street in Gold Canyon. So I know Apache Junction very, very well. All right, we lost Tammy. No problem. Tammy, come on back. Come on back now, you hear. All right, let's take a look. We'll get some more of your comments in just a second. Let's take a look at the question to Donald Trump about DACA from one of the liberal media here on the Rusty Humphries Rebellion. Here we go.
Would you be willing to sign an immigration deal that ultimately does not include funding for the border wall, or would that be a red line for you?
No. It's got to include the wall. We need the wall for security. We need the wall for safety. We need the wall for stopping the drugs from pouring in. I would imagine that the people in the room, both Democrat and Republican, I really believe they're going to come up with a solution to the DACA problem, which has been going on for a long time, and maybe beyond that, immigration as a whole. But any solution has to include the wall, because without the wall, it all doesn't work. You can look at other instances. Look at what happened in Israel. They put up the wall. They solved a very major problem. We need the wall. We have to have the wall for security purposes. Security is number one. And so the answer is have to have the wall. Thank you.
He is correct. You got to have the wall. 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 It's not because we are looking to be racist. As a matter of fact, it's one of the least racist thing we can do. We are not going to give benefits to people based on the color of their skin. You know, Martin Luther King Day is coming up. Normally I save this for Martin Luther King Day, but I'm going to paraphrase. The best speech Martin Luther King ever did. And it's not the I Have a Dream speech. Can I pull it up in time? Let's see here. It's called the Street Sweeper speech. I'll try to read it for you here in a second. This is the speech that they should be playing. And, okay, good. There's a YouTube version. Ooh, the King family is going to...
If you write anything.
All right, I'll pull this up in just a second. Because this Street Sweeper speech is one that everybody, and I mean everybody, can relate to. This is the speech that speaks to me, and I want to play it for you. A couple days early. I know everybody wants to do MLK Day on Monday, but this is why the whole idea of DACA and the whole idea of we can't have a wall and those kind of things, why it's wrong. Because in my opinion, it's not asking for equal benefits, it's asking for special benefits for people based on their color of skin. We're not looking to make special benefits for Canadians or French or German, and I don't care. But you can't have laws that say, hey, if you murder Kate Steinle, we're going to let you go because of the color of your skin. Or we can't ask you for your driver's license because of your color of skin. Or we can't ask you for your driver's license to vote because of the color of your skin. That is in itself racist, I believe. All right, let me play you what I think is the greatest Dr. Martin Luther King speech, and I want to know what you think of it. If you agree with what he's saying, and again, I haven't heard this particular version, but to me, this is the most inspirational. Let me play it for you here on the Rusty Humphries Rebellion.
What I'm saying to you this morning, my friend, even if it falls your lot to be a street sweeper, go on out and sweep streets like Michelangelo painted pictures. Sweep streets like Handel and Beethoven composed music. Sweep streets like Shakespeare wrote poetry. Sweep streets so well that all the hosts of heaven and earth will have to pause and say, here lived a great street sweeper who swept his job well. If you can't be a pine on the top of the hill, be a scrub in the valley, but be the best little scrub on the side of the reel. Be a bush if you can't be a tree. If you can't be a highway, just be a trail. If you can't be the sun, be a star. It isn't by size that you win or you fail. Be the best of whatever you are.
That's right.
And when you do this, you've mastered the length of life. This onward push to the end of self-fulfillment is the end of a person's life. Now, don't stop here, though. You know, a lot of people get no further in life than the length. They develop their inner powers. They do their jobs well. Do you know they try to live as if nobody else lives in the world but themselves? And they use everybody as mere tools to get to where they're going. They don't love anybody but themselves. And the only kind of love that they really have for other people is utilitarian love. You know, they just love people that they can use.
Well, that does sound like the Democrat Party. All right, so I had not heard that end of the speech, but the part of the speech that I've heard and that I love, and it applies to everybody. If you can't be the greatest of whatever it is, be the best at what it is that you are. Doesn't that apply to everything? Is that the message that Democrats are telling the kids today? No, they're being told you're a victim. You can't succeed without America, without the government taking care of you and your family. You're too dumb. You're too stupid. You ain't got enough. And the message should be, all our kids are dreamers. Every child needs an opportunity. But that means the children of citizens. Just because you thought it was okay to break the law and sneak across our border, and we'll keep hearing from Democrats, oh, and they brought the child through no fault of their own, that child was there, but the parent was legally responsible, just like I'm legally responsible for all the actions of my daughter that's 17 years old. They were legally responsible for those children under the age of 18. The parents were responsible, and they knew, and the Democrats know that too, and they want to use those people just like Dr. King just said. And it's not right. It's not right. And this whole idea, let's do comprehensive immigration reform, and then we'll worry about that wall. No. We need to treat them like they're bad dog. No, bad Democrat. Bad Democrat. No. Learn your lesson. We learned the lesson under Ronald Reagan. You Democrats did that before. Oh, there'll never be another amnesty. No, once we do it this one time, we're going to get the wall, Mr. President, Ronald Reagan, and us Democrats, we are going to be on board. It was a lie then, it's a lie now. What do you think? Maybe you think we should give it a try. Listen, that wall, that's expensive. That's a big wall. Let's just not worry about the wall. And we'll work with the Democrats because, let's go along to get along. And maybe it'll be better this time. Is that what you think? I want to know your comment right now. Who are you? Comment. Tell me what you think. James says, build that wall big. Brian agrees with me. Teresa agrees. Forrest says, why is Mexico allowed to build their wall to protect their southern border and not us? Well, that's what I'd like to know. Terry thinks we should get that wall if we have to build it. Sean says it's a partial wall. It'll just be in certain places. And that's where it starts falling apart. Have you ever been on the southern border? I have a lot. I live in Arizona. I've lived in California. I drive between Phoenix and San Diego all the time, going right along that border. This weekend, I hope to be driving to New Mexico, going to go right along that border. I actually like going into Mexico. I do. I like the people. I like the food. I like the music. I like the prices on a lot of things. I like the fact that you can get prescription medicine that I know I need without having to spend $150 going to the doctor, for example. But what I don't like is people thinking they can do whatever the damn thing they want. Come over here and we got to pay for it. We can't afford it. Can't afford it anymore. Cannot afford it anymore. I wish we could. We can't. See, there's always causality, cause and effect. You do this, and this happens. Democrats tend to forget it. I don't know why. I mean, they all went to these good, schools. They all say they're so damn smart. But let's use another example. Like I said, I grew up in a little town halfway between Seattle and Tacoma called Des Moines, Washington. And we would go downtown to Seattle. Man, it was like once or twice a year we'd go downtown because it was such a long drive. 20 whole miles. 20 miles. And getting my parents to take me down to downtown Seattle, go see the Space Needle twice a year, tops, because it was too far to drive. Today we drive 20 miles to go to the Panda Express. But in downtown Seattle, when I was growing up, there was a new restaurant, and boy, it was fancy. Oh, was it fancy. They had these hamburgers and all-you-could-eat French fries. It was a restaurant called Red Robin. It was a brand new restaurant, and it's Red Robin started in Seattle and has gone across the country in many places. Red Robin has just announced, if you've never been there, by the way, it is really good. Red Robin's, as a matter of fact, I may go to Red Robin for dinner tonight. But they got a problem. Red Robin has had to now fire all of the busboys at their restaurants. On Monday, Red Robin announced it would eliminate busboys at all of its 570 restaurants, as the company expects it will save $8 million in 2018 by doing so. They had to do that to address the labor increases. Why? Because most of the Red Robins are in western states, and the western states is where the minimum wage is keep going higher, higher, and higher, and they can't afford it anymore. And it's sad. Those minimum wage jobs are important. The problem is, when I was a kid, a minimum wage job was for kids. It was for me to get a job working at the Lewis and Clark movie theater so I could get free movies, popcorn. I'd make $3.35 an hour. I'd get enough for my bus fare, a little bit of pocket money, and that was it. I wasn't supposed to raise a family on it. That's not what the minimum wage is for. But don't tell that to liberals. You've got to be able to live on the minimum wage. Since when? Well, since illegal immigrants have come in, unskilled, uneducated, or let's say underskilled and undereducated, and have come in and have taken jobs away from kids. I mean, kids used to be able to have paper routes. It's hard to do that now. It goes to adults, for example. And then on the other hand, they're paying, my daughter works at a Taco Bell down the street, and, she's making over $10 an hour. Well, I love my daughter, but she ain't working over $10 an hour. So, anyway, let's see here. Sean said, let's see here. Teresa likes my music video. Well, thank you, Teresa. Maybe I'll play it again. Forrest used to live in Tucson. Brian, let's see here. New Mexico rocks. They need the wall. Steve's from Wyoming. Sean says, went to the police academy in Burien. Oh, if you know Burien, Sean, if you'll remember, there was an old gas station right in the beginning of town, a place called Five Corners. And the old gas station, which had been there since like the 1930s, was converted to a radiator shop where they fix cars and radiators called ABC Radiator. And that's the business my parents owned. So thanks to ABC Radiator and a lot of hard work, my parents retired, and I'm here doing my thing. Let's see here. Hi, Rusty. Can you do a story on police killing citizens? I'm not real sure what story you're talking about, Sandy. I don't think police kill citizens on purpose. I think a lot of time, it's so interesting where we have now taught the youth, you never have to worry about getting smacked. You never have to worry about your parents. If your parent spanks you, they're in trouble. If you get into a fight, especially with an adult for some reason, that guy's going to go to jail. And so what's happened is, and I'm not saying we should go around smacking everybody around, but what has happened is kids today have no respect. None. I remember, there's a great song by John Mellencamp called Cherry Bomb. One time me with my big mouth, couple guys had to put me in my place. When I see those guys today, I forget the word. Sit back and remember when. I can't remember the words off the top. I need the music to get me going here. Anyway, so he's talking about, my big mouth. I went and shot it off to a couple guys. They went and they kicked my butt. And now today we go to the bar and we laugh about what an idiot I was. Today, you'd go, me with my big mouth got in a fight, got those guys put in jail. But the problem is that kids today think they're invincible. And they can and do say anything to anybody at any time. And it's not benefiting the kids, it's not benefiting society, and it's putting police officers in danger. Because instead of saying, hey, wait a second, that one kid went to a store, stole a bunch of cigars, ripped off the store, beat up the store owner, went back. A cop pulls him over walking down the street, and when the cop tries to stop him, the kid reaches in the cop car because he's a big bully and tries to grab the cop's gun, and he gets shot. Instead of saying, what parent taught this kid like this? Or how dare a kid do that? Nope, we have the whole hands up, don't shoot, and there's riots in the streets. What is the benefit of that? Jesse Jackson does good. It's good for Barack Obama. It's good for Black Lives Matter. It causes more of a wedge between races in our country, but it does no good. George Soros licking his lips. See, here's the thing. George Soros made his money shorting the British pound, right? I mean, billions, tons. So let's say you make money on America doing worse. Let's say you want to short the American dollar. What do? Wouldn't you put a bunch of money into a bunch of stupid politicians and bad programs like getting marijuana legalized, knowing that that's going to hurt that country? And then you bet it all on the country going down and make a killing? Wouldn't you do that? Isn't that maybe what Soros is doing? He don't care about anybody else but himself. It's a lot hard. It's a lot easier because nobody wants to bet against America. Everybody thinks America is going to win all the time, and we are. But if you're evil, and George Soros is a guy that, as a Jew, turned in other Jews to the Nazis, okay? That's pretty evil. I mean, how friggin' evil do you got to be? Let's make the country worse and bet on that. And then he puts all the money into Democrats. Is that possibly what he's doing? That's what it looks like to me. And then he also supports idiots like John McCain. And John McCain in the news again and again. I predicted it. I told you this is what it was going to happen. John McCain is, in my opinion, the worst politician because he's the biggest liar. And you can say, oh, Barack Obama's a big liar. No, John McCain is a bigger liar and a bigger piece of garbage. Fusion GPS admits they used John McCain to pass the anti-Trump dossier to the Obama-era intelligence agencies. And why was that important? It was important because they used that to then do the wiretaps on the Trump the Trump transition team to find out what they were doing and then to try to get Trump people in trouble. It was a scam from the beginning. John McCain was a part of it. John McCain is evil. John McCain is a bad man. John McCain has done everything he can to hurt America. Oh, but he was a war hero. A lot of guys who were with him did not like him. He talk. So I am no fan of John McCain. This doesn't surprise me. Matter of fact, it is what I predicted. And again, whenever there's a big leak and it's against Republicans, the stench of John McCain is usually not far away. Sean says, John McCain, keeper of the swamp. Dario's there. Rosemary's there, watching and listening. Thank you. Dwight says, with all the evidence, we should have all these elites should be in jail at the very least. Yeah, but then when you make the laws, it's very hard to get in trouble. When you enforce the laws, it's very hard to get in trouble. So they're watching each other's back. One of the reasons why they hate Donald Trump so much. One of the reasons why he can't get his stuff through. Let's see here. Danny says, DACA's not a problem. It is a consequence of a failed government and immigration since they rewrote our laws in 1965 from pro-America to pro-immigrant. Part of the progressive socialist movement that came with the Great Society. That is true, and it was pushed through by Teddy Kennedy. Thank you very much, Danny. Carolyn is a deplorable there. She says, we're in debt now. Our national debt could be paid off if not for illegals. The Dems are going to lose almost all of the votes if they get DACA. Even Dems don't want DACA. I don't know about that one. Darren thinks McCain is the swamp. Yes. You know, people are laughing about Oprah running for president. And I caution you, do not laugh. Do not think it's impossible. And I've been getting a lot of heat for this. Well, you like Oprah? You think she should be president? No. But I understand persuasion, and I understand media manipulation, and I understand the power of emotion. Oprah is one of the great experts in the power of emotion. She can make people cry at the drop of a hat. And if you watch if you go back to old Obama speeches before when he was running for president, all of the speeches were emotionally based, all of them. And it's very, very powerful. And when you have somebody like Oprah, who is looked up as this great hero, and somebody like Donald Trump, who is a big meanie because he tweets mean things, they don't look at the economy. They don't look at that North and South Korea are talking. They don't look that that things are starting to move. They look at Donald Trump's a meanie. And that's very, very powerful and very persuasive. Okay, so we have to be careful with that. But we can use the power of emotion too. A very, very powerful column I saw today. I'm not going to have time to read all of it, but it's in the Federalist. And you watch, this guy is going to be just absolutely torn to shreds. His name is Adam Levine, and he says, coming out as a Republican to my Democrat family was way worse than coming out gay. Listen to this. I'm not a sex offender, but a number of my friends no longer have time to see me. Lifelong acquaintances now regard me with fear and distrust. I've been unfriended en masse on social media and excoriated by friends who design to remain. And I've been slightly or singly excluded from social gatherings when the rest of my family was invited. No, I'm not a sex offender. I'm something even worse. I'm a Donald Trump supporter. I was raised in a liberal Jewish family in Washington, D.C., where my dad served as a Democratic congressman for Los Angeles. Accordingly, I was indoctrinated with all of the correct values and views. When I was 7, my dad took me on a celebrity-packed camping trip to Death Valley as a part of a campaign to protect California's deserts. Israel took center stage in family discussions. I attended a Quaker elementary school where I learned the Black National Anthem before I knew the Star-Spangled Banner. In high school art class, I even chose to focus on man's destruction of the environment. I came out to my family as gay in the ripe age of 20, and they were duly overjoyed. It was always a given that Republicans are bad people, representative of that shameful sliver of our flawed society that values money above the planet and think the world would be better off if everyone were a straight white male. At a minimum, they are racist, misogynistic, and homophobic. Left to their own devices, they would exclude ethnic minorities from everything, kick sinful gay offspring into the streets, and pave our parks over with oil derricks. Of course, there are less malicious Republicans, the ones who have fallen victim to their gun-toting, Bible-thumping families and sadly don't know any better than what they've been told. This type is not entirely to blame for their ignorance. They just deserve our pity. These truths are held by my family and our extended social and political networks to be self-evident. Then in my adulthood, the liberal policy agenda became problematic for me. I found myself at a loss. I began to raise questions with my family and friends and met resistance. It was not because my concerns were particularly inappropriate. I was just not supposed to be questioning at all. One could disagree with nuances, but not the judgment of the then president or the party, period. The irony of this apparent intolerance for diversity of thought by the party claiming to be the champion of groups undeserved by the status quo was not lost on me. For the first time in my progressive life, standing up for the values that I most strongly espouse, truth, morality, self-reliance, boundaries, tolerance, and a healthy dose of Jewish skepticism, was damaging my reputation and character. When I publicly opposed my dad's support of the Iran deal, I was admonished. I had few friends with whom I could have a civil political conversation. One stopped all communications with me for 2 weeks because Trump won the presidency. Now I'm going to continue with this. I'm going to read a little bit more. We're running short of time. But I want you to do me a favor because this is important. I want you to share this video. I want you to say on your video as you share this video, this is important. Listen to what a gay Republican says. I'm not gay, but the story is important. Listen to what he has to say. This is the truth. That's what we need in our society, is the truth. These lies that are being told on a daily basis have to be exposed. And that's all we're trying to do here on the Rusty Humphries Rebellion and on right-wing news and on Liberty One TV with all of my friends who are doing shows every day. We're just trying to expose the truth. We're just trying to give you a different point of view when Facebook and Twitter and everybody else is trying to force-feed you the lies because they feel guilty and bad that Hillary lost. Wasn't that she was a flawed candidate or a liar or a crook or a thief or that maybe Donald Trump had better ideas. Again, they are ruled by emotion when it comes to policies. And so they feel bad that you were so stupid as to be fooled by Donald Trump. And it's not right. So let's get back to the hypocrisy that this man has had to live through. Okay, please share this video. What do you think of it? Thumbs up, hearts. Do you think that this man's story is true? Do you believe him? This is the emotion that Republicans don't tend to talk about. This is the emotion they ignore. They're too busy with the facts and figures, and they don't get to the emotional arguments which we need to do at times. This one is important. Let me get back to it. If Republicans are bad, Trump is nothing less than Satan embodied. Post-election family gatherings devolved into Trump bashing, which intensified as more rumors of my dubious views wafted across town. Didn't even bother going to gay pride because it was fused with a resist march. If you don't want to impeach our president, then you've got no place in gay life. I was labeled a white supremacist by a friend I've known my entire life, and completely dropped with no explanation by another dear friend and a self-anointed giant of the gay civil rights movement to whom my father had introduced me to 15 years earlier. Yes, I was in despair. But I was also outraged at not being understood for views that felt so plainly obvious to me, logically and experientially. These were not pie-in-the-sky views I was advocating in order to provoke. The Affordable Care Act has made medical treatment of my bipolar disorder more expensive than ever. Under the nuclear agreement, Iran flagrantly continues to enrich uranium and fund terrorist activities. As a small business owner, I'm regularly assaulted with financial crushing, nonsensical red tape and bureaucracy, much implemented as lip service to environmental protection. And with few exceptions, every one of my good friend feels more economically hopeless after the recovery, the Obama recovery, than before. And abject homelessness on the streets of my beloved city has swelled to egregious levels. In desperation, like a closeted teenager sneaking into a porn theater, I surreptitiously began to explore the forbidden territories of Fox News and other conservative outlets. Incredibly, I found myself agreeing more often than not. Harvey Weinstein was the last straw. Harvey Weinstein proved to me that the impetus I lacked, the media outlets that had enabled and covered up for this indiscretions for years, were the same major public voices for the Democrat Party, the self-proclaimed party of workers and women's rights. The game was up, and 2 and 2 could no longer be 5. I reached my threshold where no amount of hypothetical Republican bigotry or greed could approach the magnitude of hypocrisy, corruption, or criminality I saw rotting the Democrats to the core, and I jumped ship. And I found out almost immediately that the Republican Party is not only not evil, but populated with nice, intelligent, humble people. Days after I added myself to the Log Cabin Republican mailing list, I saw an invite to attend a gathering with Chadwick Moore, an independent journalist and one of 2 lapsed gays Democrats I'd heard of. When he spoke, I was stunned. Every sentence, every nuance and anecdote of his beautifully articulate, moving talk resonated almost identically with my own experience. From him and dozens of other log cabin attendees that night, I learned I'm not the only gay person to question Democrats or to be ostracized for doing so. By a long shot, the political climate has made it prohibitive for most of us to have a voice and find each other. Seeing virtue, or perhaps just a lack of evil, in my compatriots finally allowed me to see it myself. I am now certain I can be gay, Jewish, Republican, and still be a good person and a useful citizen. I can oppose spending on government programs with no accountability and still volunteer my time at the mental health center to serve underprivileged members of the society. I can value work and responsibility, but also want a safety net for the sick and unemployed. I can fight along for a strong Israel and vastly diverge from the Obama doctrine or the Trump doctrine. And I can be actively engaged in the gay community, not be forever outraged at a baker. It took me 36 years to see through the Democratic mystique of what the Republican Party is. Having done so has enabled me to affirm a deep part of who I am, which runs deeper than religion or sexual orientation because it's part of what forms me. And sadly, it was a part I should not have ever had to question in the first place. If the struggles of the LGBT and Jewish people have taught me one thing, it's that I count. I matter. No more or less than any other man. Precisely not because of my sexual preference or the God I worship, but because I'm a citizen of planet Earth. The knowledge there is that a major political party that extends this creed to its members has restored a deep-seated hope inside for me for my country's future. And my next hope is that 1 or 2 readers of this will not struggle as hard as I had to realize the same. And that was written in The Federalist. You can find that at thefederalist.com by Adam Levine, or Levine, Levine. And again, I don't care if you're black, Hispanic, Asian, gay, straight, whatever. You see, Democrats want to put you in a group. You're a union. You're a teacher. You are black. You are white. You are straight. You are gay. You are this. You are that. And you're part of a group. And that group should be managed. And that group should vote as a block. That's not what we're all about at all. See, the Democrats talk about individuality. Oh, you are an individual person. No, you are not. Not to them. You're a number. To conservatives, I don't know about the Republican Party. They go wishy-washy on me. Conservatives like me, I believe in what Dr. King talked about. I judge you based on the content of your character, not the color of your skin or your sexual orientation. Isn't that what we're all supposed to be doing? If not, then why have a holiday? Why is it that we're trying to have special rights for people based on the color of their skin? We have sanctuary cities to protect people based on the color of their skin, whether they're criminals or not. How does that further our posterity? How does that make our country better? It doesn't. We can make America great again. I heard somebody say that someplace. I don't remember who that was. We're on the right path. But the ideas are we have to make ourselves better. And if everybody works to make ourselves better, high tides lift all boats. And when America's better, the rest of the world is better. And we don't need to be told what to do from the top down. You people in government work for us. We don't work for you. And it's high time that they learn that lesson. Maybe they just will. All right, we are about out of time, my friend. Do me a favor, would you please? Would you please, please, please? It is so important. Follow me on the Hear Me Out app. Hear Me Out. The Hear Me Out app. It is a great app, and you just download it to your phone on the Apple Store or Google Play Store. Find it. Hear Me Out. It's one word, and you download it, and you can. It's like Twitter, but it's with audio. And you can listen to people, other people's comments. You have your own profile. You can record and share your voice. You can find people. Find and follow me, Rusty Humphries. And it's a lot of fun. You can even have this. They have drive mode. And it's kind of fun where you can hook it up to your Bluetooth and just listen to a bunch of people talking. It's fun. And I think you'll like it. And it doesn't cost you anything, and it means a lot to me if you'll follow me on the Hear Me Out app so these SOBs and the other social media companies don't silence our conservative thought. And you know it's not conservative thought, it's honest thought. It's loving of America thought. And it's okay to love America because loving America makes the world a better place. That's what I think. What do you think? Comment right here on Facebook, Twitter. Follow me on the Rusty Humphries Rebellion, if you'll find me, iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, any place you get a great podcast. Download my show, listen to it, be a part of it. I'm here every night, 9 p.m. in the East, 6 p.m. in the West, unless I got something else to do. And that's it. We'll see you tomorrow. May God bless you. May God bless America. My name is Rusty Humphries, and this is the Rusty Humphries Rebellion.